Hello, welcome to Loremaster's Lair. I'm your Loremaster, here today to continue our month-long March of Fiends. There are currently 3 fiend lineages which, with the Remaster right around the corner, never had a tiefling of their own. Divs, Demodans, and this week's topic, Oni. Maybe in our timeline we would be getting Oni tiefling with the Tianchi books. Hey, maybe we still are. I have no idea how Nephilim work. But that is a whole nother topic entirely. Right now we have the Fiends of Tian to take our focus, so let's get started. Long ago the gods crafted spirits known as kami, their purpose being to protect the parts of nature unable to protect themselves. Rivers, trees, stones, the like. Why then they all ended up in Tianchi, then I'm not too sure. You think they'd be spread out across the pan, but the kami are a force of order, governed by order, and there are strict laws that they must follow in their duties. Laws which expect much, which make it easy for one to not quite live up to the expectations placed on them. And when a kami falls, an oni is born. Brought about by anger being cast out, the oni soon finds themselves obsessed with the physical as opposed to spiritual. They begin longing instead of for earthly pleasures, as they transform from inanimate object-based creatures to imitations of humanoids. Whether food, whether sex, whether alcohol or violence, only let their obsessions grow and become focused. For the most part, Oni do not work to harm humans, though it usually is a side effect of their careless search for pleasure. The pathetic kami, which they were birthed from, however, have the Oni's full contempt. Oni begin their life in spirit form, and this is important to figure their temperament. They are guardians of the world who no longer think the world is worth guarding, leaving only the desires of the flesh. To manifest in the material realm, they need to find a place of filth and defilement which will allow them to form their fiendish bodies. Their physical bodies are ones they keep for their entire lives. One of the Oni's greatest powers is the power to transform. Each subspecies of Oni is connected to one humanoid creature, and they have the power to transform into either a disguised member of the humanoid species, or as their Oni selves. Like all fiends, there are various types of Oni, but a few are more common than others. But first, and the most basic, are unlike other Oni because they have yet to manifest. Spirit Oni are Oni that have walked away from the path of the kami, but have yet to take a physical form. Despite this, it does have the limited ability, to manifest a demonic face to either talk or attack with. Now, going based on their disguise forms, the human-faced Oni are called Kua. They have the most subtle of appearances, even in their true forms only having small horns, pointed teeth, and other easy-to-conceal markings of Onidom. While most Oni look to be at the top of a system, Kua like being right in the middle of everything where they can manipulate others. Ogre mages, as their name suggests, take the form of ogres. They are the only most likely to be found in the inner sea region, and tend to manipulate tribes of ogres into following them. Atamhuta mimic the Etin, having 2 heads. However, the second head, which now possesses 3 eyes, appears to be brain dead, because it is actually a medium for it to use its magic. Appearing as hobgoblins, Janoi's true form has red skin and empty black eyes. They love bloodshed and travel in bands which cause as much carnage as possible. Nakitsune are tricky, as they appear with little difference from Kitsune, of 2 growing tails as they gain power. They also have limitless hunger for bloodshed, and enjoy working as assassins. So too, Yamabushi Tengu share the rare Tengu's power to shift between bird and long-nosed human form. They detest fair fights and prefer to act as thieves and murderers. And the last 5 are the top of the Oni, the Yai. All Yai are giant demonic beasts with multiple eyes and unusual colored skin. Their transformed form are giants, and lesser Oni worship them. Fire Yai are connected to fire giants, and they act always on impulse. Ice Yai are connected to frost giants, known for their uneven fangs and mist which always surrounds them. Water Yai bear connection to storm giants, and are the Yai most connected to luxury, and the ones you can be lucky enough to find being playful instead of malicious. Wind Yai are connected to cloud giants, with their eyes and teeth blazing yellow and their hair always looking as if blown in the wind. And finally, the Void Yai. Unlike the other Oni, they do not have a humanoid counterpart, because Void Yai are different. These massive creatures are born not from the Oni spirit, but by the evolution of lesser Yai, or even from powerful giants who untether their souls from their bodies. They also gain the ability to shift between the corporeal and incorporeal at will, making them the single most dangerous of Oni. Oni believe that mortals waste the bounty of the material world, and devote themselves to living their physical lives correctly. This idea brings about the center of Oni philosophy, known as the 3 pillars. These are Meikage, which means to achieve dominance, Karikage, which means to punish the undeserving, and Tezukage, which is living hedonistically. When one understands this, it is easy to see the root of Oni's actions of conquest, cruelty, and overindulgence, and also why Oni are obsessed with the lights of flesh, the light of sight, the light of taste, the light of sound, and the light of smell, as they call them. That said, Oni are still connected to Kami, and therefore still bound to laws which dictate how Kami should act, known as the laws of golden perfection. Some of the greatest effects this have on Oni is that they are forbidden from directly warring against the Kami, nor are they able to destroy the works of man or crush royal lineages, all things which would help them fulfill their desires for conquest. Therefore, as direct as Oni might seem, they are known for manipulating humans in order to have them do what they are bound not to, or to skirt past the rules and achieve their own dominance. Outside the laws of golden perfection, there is one more book on Galarian you are going to want to read if you are going to deal with Oni. The Taiyagama. This is a book of a farmer boy who is tasked by Kami to battle with the Oni and retake the 7 of the 8 kingdoms which they had already conquered. Well, it's a myth cycle, and a hilarious one at that. The book is known for actually being an effective guide on how to fight Oni. So if you're worried about fighting the Fiends, might want to brush up on some reading. Well, have one of the local bards regale you with the tales. They have it all memorized. Oni tiefling are called hunger seeds, and they share desire for all the pleasures of the flesh with their progenitors. They also are natural bullies, browbeating henchmen into their service as easy as they breathe. They are larger than normal mortals, their muscles bulging larger still whenever they let their emotions run wild. They mostly appear in Tianxi, but a few ogre mages bear some children in Belkzen and Cheliax. And to end off, we have some demigods this week. So let's quickly look through them. Oni demigods are transcendent forms of Oni, but they still are classified into Oni subtypes and do not flaunt their powers, preferring isolation in dark corners of Tianxi. So let's go through them by type. First, among ogre mages, we have Akuma the Horned King, who works to master his martial arts in Lingshen. Chimon, the Hunter of Blood, who is a trap in the Force of Spirits. Verona, the Dark Mother, who is said to live in the tunnels under Minkai's capital, and Onmyuzu, the tattoo-covered hedonist who lives below Goka in a constant orgy. For a little more diversity, surprisingly we have a daimyo who is a Kuwa, Uzume the Frozen, who commands the frozen ghosts from his fortress in the Wall of Heaven. We also have one Warrior, Gyuku, the Sea Devil, pirate of the islands of Minata. Two Warrior have also proven their might, being Nataka, the Red King, who dwells in the mountains bordering the Tong and Zahoi, and Yabu, the Lord of the Cosmic Caldera, who lives in the Tien's largest volcano. Finally, two Voidai, Ushitora, the Keeper of the Oni Gate, who guards said weapon of mass destruction in North Koling, and Inma, the Empress of the World, who rules the only nation of Chuyu. And that brings us to the end of today's video. That was a nice tease of some stuff that are coming up in Tianxi. I'm definitely visiting more and more as we approach the book next year, but that said, next week we'll be pulling back, looking at a fiend from a region and from a plane we have looked at in the past. See you then.